the passing of a legendary entertainer. But before we jump into those, we also have your favorite Meridian Medical Corner joining us at 8:15. So, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with more Island Tea.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Make your house a dream home with a Horseman's Reno loan. Yes, come to Horseman's today and ask about our home renovation loans of up to $35,000 unsecured. Yes, home renovation loans for as much as $35,000 unsecured over 4 years plus no money down. Yes, you pay zero money down on your loan, up to $35,000 home reno loan at Horseman. So come, let's make your house a dream home with a zero down payment Horseman's Reno loan today. See store for details. Terms and conditions apply.
I know what is expected of me.
Even when I do something wrong, my teacher shows me the right way to do it.
We learn inside and outside of the classroom.
To excel and to do what's right.
Effective Schools SKN. Reach, grow, develop. This is a message from the Ministry of Education in partnership with UNICEF and this radio station.
This is a story, ladies and gentlemen, about two lovely white women traveling all the way to Africa, found themselves deep in the heart of the Baluba in the Congo, in the hands of my big brother, Oomba. Had it been me, I would have taken them back to their husband, but brother was hungry. White women traveling through Africa, find themselves in the hands of a cannibal headhunter. He cook up one and eat one raw. The taste so good, he wanted more. Me want more. I envy the Congo man. I wish it was me. I want to shake his hand. He eat until his stomach upset, and I never ate a white meat yet. To see what's taking place. There I saw the Congo going to take a little taste. He opened the eye and he started to grin, rubbing the belly and he mumbled in. I envy the Congo man. I wish it was me. I want to shake his hand. He eat until his stomach upset. What about you, Rico? Yahuda, who is Yahuda, Ahuda. Tie them up and he put them to lay down on the ground. Light up the fire and he started dancing round and round. One of the women started to beg. He bites him on his chest and then he catch him on his leg. It's you. I envy the Congo man. I wish it was me. I want to shake his hand. He eat until his stomach upset. What about you? Who there? Who there? Who there? Who there? The next one started screaming with all the voice she got. He lifted she up and he put she inside a big, big pot. The water was warm. She started to wiggle. The Congo started to laugh and giggle. I envy the Congo man. I wish it was me. I want to shake his hand. He eat until his stomach upset, and I never eat a white meat yet. I said I never eat a white meat. 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 Yabade, yabade. I say yabade, yabade. I never eat a white meat. Boy, you ever eat a white meat? Oh no 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 no. Oh yeah oh yeah la 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 la. Yabade yabade andoro bade andoro la 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 la. Ay 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 di la 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 oh yeah. Never 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 never.
Good morning again, and welcome back to the umpteenth plus one episode of Island Tea. While we wait for Meridian Medical Corners to get settled, we are gonna talk about what today is. It's July 1st. Miram. It's July 1st. We are officially in the next half of 2020. The first half was not kind to us at all.
Oh, yeah, we half to the year?
We officially. What?
What is that?
But he just had to do a lot
What
of
is it,
things.
Jesus?
Jesus. We officially halfway through the year. To be quite honest, the first half wasn't that nice to us. We started off a new decade very optimistic, and we were ready. We were ready for what this decade had to offer. Everybody was ready to start some new beginnings and some new chapters in their life. And Rona said, wait. I'm here. Settle down. And Rona just ruined everything. Then we had so many things happen in the first half of the year. We had Kobe passing. We had Corona, which set up shop. We had the dust. Me and hearing you.
This is how one desert thing.
The possibility of another world war.
Right, we have the possibility of World War III coming. We have an overactive hurricane season.
We had protests.
We had protests. It's still ongoing, by the way. Even though the news not reporting it, it's still happening. New York actually just hit the 30th day in a row that they've been protesting. What else? Let me tell you, I fed up. I think I fed up.
We had election.
We had elections.
Well,
elections wasn't. It wasn't.
It was entertaining.
It was entertaining, but
Wow.
It's hot.
Oh, you're hot?
Yeah, it's hot.
Amalia, are you going through menopause on here?
I didn't hear what you said.
I turned it on already, but it's hot. So plus time blast.
It sounds like Amalia is going through menopause.
So then the two of us.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
The rest of the year don't start after a bad start, why?
It's Jade. But July 1st, so let's see if we get somewhere with the latter half of the year, because quarter 1 and 2, throw them in the trash. Nope.
We need to dip 2020 in rice and see if it could come back.
Rice?
Yeah, you know when your phone...
That rice can't help.
You don't think rice could save it?
Rice is not going to save it. What we need to do is we need to dash it away and buy a new one. Because this rice...
What cost you?
Because I feel like if we dry it in rice, we're going to be good to go. And then in 3 weeks...
You're going to malfunction again?
The phone going to just lock off.
Oh, Lord. I remember they said that they found out that aliens exist as well, you know?
Yeah,
all
they
of these
admitted
things
it.
happen in 6 months.
We fed up.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, July 1st. Be nice to us, please, because
Please.
I need to be at a fete. I need to be entertained. I need to be
outside.
Yes, I need to be drinking rum punch.
Speaking of, Amali, did you ask your mom to make us some nice little rum punch?
I'm not bringing any rum punch here.
Why not? You're afraid to about what may happen?
Yes, it's totes and the props.
Don't steal my words.
We are already inappropriate as it is on radio. If we consume alcohol while or before going on radio, it will be
catastrophic.
A lawsuit.
It will be outrageous.
Outrageous. I'm going to do the responsible thing and continue sipping tea and eating crumpets.
Crumpets is biscuit crackers, by the way, but
these are atrocious.
It's like dry cardboard.
Okay, that's really good.
But yeah, so we will take a short break, and then when we come back, we will jump right into the favorite corner, Meridian Medical Corner.
Your favorite corner.
The favorite corner. Way, and it isn't Baker's Corner. It's Meridian Medical Corner.
New intro ads.
See, look there. You ready?
Are this in your show? Watch yourself.
Morning, everyone. Welcome. You are inside the Meridian Medical Corner on Win FM. Brought to you by Meridian Medical Consultants, South Independence Square, Bastyr. In our little corner, we discuss and answer your questions on common health issues and how they may affect you. It's your health. Get involved.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. You are inside Meridian Medical Corner. This, of course, is Win FM. And I am Andrew Holness, family physician working in the island of St. Kitts. Sometimes Nevis, but not so much. This morning, what's with all the food, man?
We're hungry.
In a cracker?
No, feel free. Enjoy yourself. While the fellas are having their repast, I want to talk about burning, no, let's put it nicely, dysuria today. But we'll be right back after these messages.
What do you want in your pharmacy? Superior service? Check Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Quality drugs? Definitely Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Great prices? Always Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Call Meridian Medical Pharmacy at 465-5096 or 7 or 662-3274 or stop by at South Independence Square Street, Basse-Terre. Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Quality products, superior service, best prices. What do you want in your pharmacy? Superior service? Check Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Quality drugs? Definitely Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Great prices? Always Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Call Meridian Medical Pharmacy at 465-5096 or 7 or 662-3274 or stop by at South Independence Square Street, Basse-Terre. Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Quality products, superior service, best prices.
I could do the dance. Okay. Oh, we reach back. Yes.
Okay. I can't hear myself too good, That's my problem. So I don't know when I'm
Jade
on.
fault.
Yeah, this is a
Tech fault?
Jade.
Oh,
Producer.
Jade fault. I
Yeah.
understand. All right.
You see, everybody understands.
So while we have tea and crumpets, we will we'll talk about dysuria. So the natural question, of course, is what is dysuria? What kind of plebeian are you?
you said tea and comfort, so I had to. Remember, not everybody have the visuals, so we have to do the sound.
Sit the key in the microphone. I'm so sorry, my friend.
Hey, what are you gonna do?
I know.
We were talking about dysuria. So dysuria basically is pain or discomfort on passing your urine. It is it is often associated with burning when you pass your urine, burning when you pee. Mm-hmm. But it is not only that. It can be other forms of discomfort. Burning is only one. For example, it can be itching when you pass your urine.
Okay.
Or it can be a sensation of numbness when you pass your urine.
That sounds serious.
Once it is abnormal with respect to the outflow, then we're talking about dysuria. Now, dysuria, what we usually do at Meridian Medical is we talk about a disease entity, and then we work through it, signs and symptoms and the risk factors, and we work through. But not all the time we can do that, because sometimes you don't come to it as a disease, you come to it as a symptom.
Okay.
And the symptom today is passing your urine with discomfort. And there are a ton load of different thoughts that come to mind when we're thinking about it.
Prostate?
Now, prostate is only one, but and not in one step.
I'm listening.
Yes, I'll tell Dr. Lawrence that you're paying attention. So when we think about dysuria as a symptom is the thing that you experience. The thing that I find as a physician examining you, not to be a physician, something that the other person notices or elicits, that's called a sign. So, let me digress just a little bit. A symptom, for example, would be pain. Pain, only one person can experience it, and that is you. Now, when I poke you in a spot and you say, ow, you experience pain. I elicit from you tenderness. Tenderness is not a grade of pain. Because when people say, no, it's not painful, it's just tender, that's not so. Pain comes in various severities, and I can elicit tenderness. So when you come and complain that you're having burning when you pass your urine, then we start to think of some ideas. The first thing we need to figure out is what we're talking about. Where exactly is the problem? Because lots of people don't want to, either they don't know or they don't want to be specific about the areas. Sometimes it's shy.
Yeah.
Now, burning when you pass your urine can be it related specifically to the urinary tract, which is broken up into a upper part and a lower part. The upper urinary tract is kidney, and the tube that drains the kidney called the ureter. Whereas, we need one of them diagram boards.
A chart,
Could do a chart.
Yeah. Good morning, class.
But you imagine it, right? You have a kidney, which look like, what a kidney bean look like, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have a tube that drains it, and it goes into this big sac, like a reservoir, called a bladder. And then the bladder is the lower urinary tract. So you have a bladder, and in order for it to get out of your body, you need a tube. That tube is called a urethra. Okay. Upper urinary tract, kidney and the tube that drain it. And then the lower urinary tract is the bladder and the tube that drain it. Now, anywhere along there can have problems. And we're just talking about the urinary tract. And in the problem areas, have different issues that can come up. And so, for example, if you're having a kidney infection, nowhere not just being general and say, well, I have a urinary tract infection, because a urinary tract is big. Kidney all the way down to the end.
Whole machine.
Correct. And you're not interested in the whole machine. You're interested in the upper part when we're talking about a kidney infection, which comes with its own set of signs and symptoms. Signs, what you complain about. Symptoms, what you complain about. Signs, what I find. So you said, Doc, I am peeing fast, which is a Kittitian expression for frequency. Right?
That's some shade.
Don't ask me how it get there.
Don't ask how it makes sense.
I just learned.
Somebody else would deduce that he's speaking about velocity.
The regular person in the room.
Yeah. which is what I thought. So I guess I'm not Kittitian, but.
No, you're not. If you don't know what fast means.
I'm telling you that. I'm telling you.
In this sense.
No, if you say it to a regular Kittitian, they know exactly what you
mean.
Fast.
It means you're peeing often.
So, right. So, but
where you live?
Velocity and frequency are not the same, right? But we understand.
Right.
So when you complain of peeing fast, which is passing your urine more frequently than you're used to, then that's a symptom of something going on in the urinary tract. And it can be from the kidney all the way down. But when we're thinking about what causes the burning, we don't have to figure out location and then a pattern and some specifics. For example, burning in the urine, burning as you pass urine is often a sign of urinary tract infections. That is probably the most common reason. And infections can come in many different forms. You can have the routine ones that everybody gets, men and women, though women are much more likely to have it.
Excellent.
And of course, it can be other things like trauma, like kidney stones, which men are much more likely to have.
Terrible.
Now, so then you have to figure out the location. Now, if everybody understand what their parts look like, right, men and women, then we can talk a story. In men, our tube that drains the urine is a long tube because it has to exit the bladder, work its way through the prostate, and then the entire long, 9 inches of a penis. Wait, sorry. No, yes.
You're speaking about
average penis is not 9 inches. So you want to so you have a varying lengths, but the point is it is definitely longer than a woman's urethra
because she doesn't have a penis.
Correct.
Or
she's very short, and she does have a prostate, which is to her disadvantage, but that's a different story. So the idea here is knowing the parts. Now, as the urethra. The urinary tract is the same for both men and women, except that shortened end tube. And then as it exits, the parts get different. Now we're differentiating into man and woman. The man's urethra goes through the penis and then ends at the end, which is that little tiny hole we all know, where all the urine and the semen come through, common hole. And it is covered over, that's the big head is called the glands, and it's covered over by the foreskin if you're not circumcised. Women don't have that. They have a little prepuce, which men have too, which is a little hood that covers over the clitoris. And right below the clitoris is the hole where the urine comes out. And then below that is the other hole that we call the vagina. So they have many more holes in a tiny, then below that now is the hole for the bottom. So you have 3 holes in a small area.
Very small circumference.
And so it makes women more prone to infections of the urinary tract and of the bladder. Now, the burning can be at the end of the tube as it is coming out. This is what you get in diseases like regular urinary tract infections, like chlamydia, gonorrhea. Gives you burning in the tube.
At the end.
At the end. That's why men talk about peeing fire, because at the end is where it is burning.
Kevin, you ever hear that one?
Yeah. Of course he know.
We're talking to the other one too.
Don't.
No, he knows what I'm talking about. Is what I'm saying.
The issue is I'm familiar in medical terms.
Of
so
course.
for me, when I hear certain things,
Except peeing
I
fast.
have a different understanding of them.
So yeah. So the idea is that so when the women have their urinary tract issues, it can be just at the end, or it can spill over onto their labia. The labia is the lips, the big lips that cover the vagina. The hole is the vagina, and the small lips in the middle, and you form this nice little, crescent on either side,
Like an almond.
or like a peach, depending on So you see again, no visuals, man. You just throw up the picture right
That's
now.
why I'm saying these things to the people listening who aren't aware and privy to
Jade,
this
can you provide us
information.
with visuals to put them on the screen so we can?
Oh Lord.
We need a diagram. Stop to your
thought I
crackers
pushed them away
and put
somewhere
them up.
So that's why you have producer, to throw these ideas. So as a woman passes her urine, burning can be in the tube as it's exiting. It can be at the end. It can be as it affects her labia and all the way down to her perineum. Perineum is the space between the vaginal opening and the anal opening.
That's called the perineum.
Yes.
I
In St.
understand.
Kitts, they call it the taint.
Taint, yes.
Okay. You see, actually learning some conditions after
These are
taint,
that.
not the original.
Okay.
Or gooch.
Or gooch.
There you go. It's a family show, right? Okay, so we're not going any further. so part of the interaction now between client and doctor is to help to figure out the nuances of exactly where things are, because depending on where the actual irritation or insult is, it can give you a good idea as to your diagnosis and certainly about your management. So if the labia is involved, usually the labia is pretty resilient, right? It has to take a lot of beating up. And so if it becomes involved, you know that it is sore and miserable. It tends to be swollen, and that's trauma, absolutely. But also it can be other things, like it can be a yeast infection that can cause the area to be inflamed and swollen and red and not comfortable at all. Touching it hurts. Passing urine over it hurts. It's like when you have a cut and you throw alcohol on it.
Right.
The same skin that is uninjured, alcohol doesn't bother it.
Right.
But once it's injured, you'll know. And it's the same kind of idea with urine. Then, of course, there are the constituents. What comes out in the urine that might contribute to this? And sometimes this is one of the questions that we ask. We ask you questions like, how frequently are you passing urine? Is it a small amount or a large amount? Do you have any urgency? Difficulty holding? When you go, do you have to rush or you feel it coming out? Questions like, when it does come out, is it large volumes of urine every time or small trickles every time? And these are questions. Discharge, both men and women. When a man come in and talk about, Lord Doc, every time I pee, I feel like I'm peeing fire. You ask a couple of questions. Are you having a penile discharge? A discharge from the penis, not involved with sex, because you have to be sure. Because everybody say, yes, doc, of course I have a discharge, which is not what you want to know. That's like too much information. So the idea is, do you have an abnormal discharge? Because an abnormal discharge in a man starts to give you red flags. And then so the next question is, are you sexually active? Number of different partners. Don't ask how many different women, just ask number of different partners, because we live in a very progressive environment.
Liberal, yes.
And then the key question is, do you wear a condom consistently? Because you say, do you wear a condom? Yes.
Consistent.
1994. So yeah, that says. Or I have a main girl, and I'm faithful to her because I faithfully don't use a condom. Or I faithfully use a condom with the other women. Right?
People tell you these things?
Of course. There's some concepts of faithfulness. You can't just assume that
surface,
what you mean by faithfulness is what somebody else means. So you have to be specific. You have to get down into the weeds and make sure you get the right information. Because if you go away, if you ask somebody, are you faithful to your partner? And them say, of course. you go away with the idea that in a traditional world, that person only has one person with whom they are sexually active, right? And they're not thinking that at all.
Yeah.
How many? So you ask the question: how many partners do you have? They have one partner,
Right.
plus the one outside. So the partner is the real one,
Official,
and then one
wifey.
of the official one.
Yeah,
and then, so if you ask how many official partners you have,
they would say
then it's one. But then you ask how many subsidiary partners do you have?
That's a different question.
So these are questions you have to be clear, because then you
Wow.
get led down the wrong road, and they don't always want you to know, especially women. They don't always want you to know the whole truth, because they feel like you're going to be judging them
There's
on
a
their
stigma
behavior.
attached, yeah.
And so they're not always forthright and upfront. So we were talking about this area. So you're making me digress, So the
Kevin entered.
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
So the idea is figuring out what is the location, the nature of the burning, the discomfort, because that helps you as well. Tingling burning, for example, a tingling sensation when you pass the urine can be a sign of herpes.
Really?
Yeah, herpes infections of the vagina and the penis and
So
the
herpes infections can feel pleasant.
I never said pleasant. I said
Tingly so pleasant to me.
You see assumptions.
I don't know what kind of
You see
tingling you would
assumptions?
experience, but
A tingly sensation is normally a positive thing. In my experience.
I understand.
Let's not get into
And
kinks.
make sure that you are making sure that you're always saying in your experience.
It's
because the people who have to battle herpes lining up out the door to shoot you.
Well, then I guess the wrong word is tingly then.
No, it's described as tingling. This is an
it's-
interpretation of that.
It's being
that we
described
have
wrong,
to-
doctor.
It's a straightforward thing.
Yeah,
but the
girl said-
idea is, how do you interpret that?
You ever heard somebody say like when they see puppies they get like a tingly sensation inside?
Yes, you assume that is good. Maybe they're afraid. And the tingling sensation is a sense of fear.
A tingly sensation, a sense of fear.
If in that person, absolutely. It's very possible.
Your
So
job,
don't
is,
assume.
your job is very complex.
Yes, it is. But you have to appreciate the nuances. So the idea is be clear and get your locations right and get your descriptions right. And then you figure out other things like patterns. When does it happen? Is the burning sensation happening only after sex and no other time? Is it only around your period or no other time? And so you start to ask, is it only when you wear this particular panty or this particular panty liner? These are issues that you actually may be able to get into. Now, lots of people are not paying attention in that way. So they're not thinking, work out the details of their experience. But once you start to plant the seed, which is, what we do on radio, you can get more people being more aware. And then if you know generally what the questions are likely to be and how you get to the answer, then people start to now pay attention, which is what helps us all. Sometimes we make it look like it's a secret, we have these magic powers and we just look into your brain and pick out the answer. Not so. We just observe like every other person.
So you're not a wizard?
Not all the time, no.
Okay.
Definitely not on Wednesdays. Talk to me like Friday. We'll talk about it then.
Sips tea.
Wizardry is a whole other discussion. No, the last, and we can't take phone calls, right? So the kind of the last thing I
People
want
just
to
home laughing
slide through
and enjoying the show
is how we think about management. I am used to talking about disease entities as we work through, but lots of patients, though they want to know what's causing the problem, want to also know what are we going to stop it. I want to walk out of the office with a plan to stop the burning sensation that I'm experiencing. And so part of management almost always has to be not just figuring out what is the cause, but also having a strategy to manage the symptoms. Managing the symptom might also manage the cause. But the idea is it sometimes can be separate entities. When I send you down the road to get an ultrasound, for example, and Dr. Hodge is my friend, but the ultrasound is not solving the problem of an infection in the kidney. It's nice information to gather. It's essential information to gather. But at the end of the day, Dr. Hodges ultrasound is not going to solve the problem of pain in the kidney. So you always have to be thinking on layers. How do I find out what I want to know? Is it purely academic? And how do I then alleviate the symptom or the problem that the patient comes to me with? That is number 2. The third layer is how do I prevent this from happening again? It's all tied in together. As you say, complicated, because
exactly
sometimes in finding and fixing the problem, you've alleviated the future part of things where it comes back. Sometimes you don't know. If you have herpes, for example, genital herpes, oral herpes, they are incurable at this particular moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that no matter what your symptoms are of herpes, and no matter the fact that I have found out what's going on, I can't solve the problem of herpes at this present incarnation of our dimension. We need to figure out, hopefully with this whole coronavirus business, where light is now focused on viruses, and as an offshoot of trying to fix corona, we start to fix a lot of other, we try to fix a lot of other things. Herpes would be nice to fix, because it is the bane of lots of people's existence, and we need to jump on top of that and get some actual concrete answers. But herpes is one of those things you can't cure, even though you know the answer, and so it goes. And you assume that because somebody complains of burning, for example, and you see and hear and figure out the herpes lesion, that is the only problem. It might not be. The fact that they have herpes might open up the world of sexually transmitted infections. And herpes is just the one that you see. But what you don't see is the chlamydia that they've had for years. And they get recurrences of the symptoms. So when we say, aha, I see it, I'm going to deal with it, that's only 10%. And so you get 10% cure, and they feel better 10%, but the majority of it is still there, and you miss the boat. And so it's one of the reasons why consults take so long sometimes, because you try and figure it, not just the thing that is clearly obvious, it is also the thing that is less obvious, which can be a bigger part of the problem. So we're thinking layers. You're thinking, treat this thing you come in with, find the underlying cause, prevent the future as best you can. And the preventing of the future problem is not just medical. It's also how do you change your lifestyle to make it less likely to happen. So for example, if you have recurrent urinary tract infections, there are some things that you can do. For example, drinking more water. Make sure that you are up to at least 2 liters a day and more depending on the nature of your job. And making sure that you're passing your urine frequently. Can be as frequently as every 3 hours you're emptying your bladder. But that is not, it sounds like frequent, it's not really but frequent. It's not bad given the consequence of the alternative. So making sure that you shower, wash your parts carefully before sexual intimacy, not intercourse, and then washing immediately after, because you want to reduce the amount of flora that blooms in that environment when action is going on. You want to make sure that that the hygiene is good all through the day. You want to pay attention to the symptoms, because if you have experience, you know what the red flags are, and immediately see a red flag, you know what you need to do. So these are things that don't involve doctors, that a person can execute as their life progresses, and so turn away from the higher risk. Absolutely, because when all is said and done, very few things you can actually say, I have 100%, this will never happen to you again. I stopped saying that as a doctor. All I can talk about is risk. The likelihood of something happening is either high or low. I can help you go from high to low. You can make yourself go from low to high. And that is that. And I would take telling on this, but that goes across the board in medicine. Risk management. So stop talking about cure. Talk about risk management. That's the idea. All right. Can a man get pregnant? The answer to that is yes. The risk is very low.
Yeah.
Can you get hit by a car on a desert island?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
But it's very unlikely.
Unlikely. Not impossible.
Unlikely.
So weird things happen. And of course, a creative mind can create scenarios where, the weird and wonderful can happen. But that's the idea. Cool. 466-0989, 762 and 662-0989. Ain't nobody calling me, but that's okay. I used to being alone.
That just means they're being attentive.
I think they're all ready. They're listening. They don't want to disturb.
We comfort each other with those words.
I mean my words. I mean my words.
But again, I'm also looking at the lives, so you can leave your comments on the lives.
Ah, yes. Okay, right. Forgot about you tech boys.
Yep. Listen, we up to the times.
I am glad. Next thing you have this via Zoom. You could
I
have this
think
via Zoom.
We do Zoom already.
You see, that helps me a lot because it means I don't have to get up early and come up
Well,
with
that,
a
not
host.
for you. We're not doing. No.
Thanks, man.
You set up yourself for that
Well,
one.
I say Meridian Medical is moving into the world of teleconsults. I did one yesterday or the day before. She was in the U.S., trapped, and I'm her doctor. And so we had a teleconference and solved her problem.
See?
So it is the wave of the future. My children are better at it than me. They have their own account, their own Zoom accounts.
The children are also doctors?
No, not yet.
But that's what they're aspiring to be?
I don't know. They're 9.
Oh.
So
So they have time.
Yes, but they have to learn the skills. So they will learn the observation skills that we're talking about, and the risk management tools, and also how to think about problem solving, which is not a medical thing. It's just a way that you learn how to think at a certain level of education. They start to teach you that kind of stuff.
Of course.
But there's no need to wait until you're in university to learn it. Problem solving is a lifelong thing. So you figure out what are the rules to solving any problem, and then you apply those rules and learn how to modify those rules depending on the circumstance. But anybody can learn that, And part of medicine is to pass that on, and that's where the wizardry disappears, because for a long time doctors used to hold those things as secrets. Actually, I was never in that group where they hold it as everybody took me one side and said, you know what, here's how we do this and everything. I just learned it and passed it on. I come from that world where the more you know is the less work I have. And so
that is true, yeah.
Absolutely.
As a patient, yeah.
So the more and
Help
the
me
faster
help
we
you.
can, absolutely, the faster we can get there, But lots of doctors that used to be like that. Now we're moving into a world where the tech is very useful because everybody can Google, which means that everybody can check what I'm saying to see if I'm chatting foolishness, and call me on it if necessary. And we have had to, as a profession, have had to face that reality where the scrutiny can certainly be more.
Right. Because people are more informed. Well,
That's
they can be more
They
informed.
can be more informed.
Yeah.
It's not like it's hidden. I had an old mentor, and she used to be of that old school where you don't show weakness. You don't show ignorance. You never say you don't know. And so she would meet a problem that she didn't know the immediate answer to, and she would
wing it?
No, she would put the patient to sit comfortably, excuse herself, and then while she is, putting on her gown,
she's looking it up,
checking it up in the bathroom. She's in a library in the bathroom.
Wow.
So she would pull her book and have a look around. I mean, I wondered and marveled at that whole thing, but I never did get into it because I don't have a problem saying I don't know that thing.
But I'll get it, and I'll let you know.
You don't know. If you don't know, winging it is dangerous for everyone.
Yeah, I have a question for you. How do you manage? A lot of us like to turn doctors using the web. We get a headache that lasts 4 hours. We Google it. We find out we have brain cancer, and we come into the office and we tell you, I have this, I have that. And how do you deal with situations like that when people self-diagnose and show up expecting you to reinforce the diagnosis?
Usually my tactics is to appreciate that they're concerned, one, and that they've done the research, and if they've done it well, then we can have a conversation. But the bottom line always is, prove to me that this is what you have. I don't have a problem with your making your diagnosis, but have
show me how you got there.
You have to give me the same courtesy so that I will be able to take your information that you used, apply it through my tests, and come to the same diagnosis. Then I'm on board. I'm not just going to tell it take it as you tell it. Give me the same set of circumstances that you used, and let me see if I come to the same answer. That's how I do it. But what happens then is that we then work through their symptomatology. Here is what I started with. I have a headache that lasted for 4 hours. Wonderful. This is the first time you had a 4-hour headache. What's different about this one? Sometimes that goes to what you put into the Google search, because sometimes it's a frontal headache and not a parietal headache, and you don't know the difference. And so you put in headache, and what comes up is temporal headaches versus parietal headaches. Totally different story. So I not berating you for going to Dr. Google, but give me the opportunity to work through the symptoms. Let me make sure that what you are calling chest is not stomach. So that if you say, I have a stomach pain, right? When you're really thinking about your chest, if you put stomach pain in the Google thing, you're going to get a different answer because Google know what stomach is.
And make sure the sensation is the bad tingling, not the good one.
Well, tingling, but it's not just tingling by itself. It's tingling on what else? Right. So these are the ideas. And I'm glad you brought it up because it will at least hopefully give people who like to do Dr. Google a wider range of things to think about. So you have to be very specific, and then you have to you have to try to be as specific in your searches as possible. The caveat to Google is people hardly ever talk about good outcomes.
Right.
They don't talk because having a sore throat that gets cured with routine antibiotics after 5 days is not news. And so that doesn't go on Google as your top search answer.
It's always the worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario. Drama, pictures. That's what you see. Now, if that is the only thing you see, you have no choice but to follow that same track. Because you don't see any alternative. You don't see the 90% good outcome. All you see is the 10% bad. And even with that 10% bad, you don't know what are the circumstances that created it. A lot of times, bad outcomes are because you take too long. So you sit and you fiddle and you ignore and you see the weight loss, and you say, wait, I get fit. You see, dropping off the weight. Then you pass that and realize, wait, that jeans don't fit me anymore. Wait, that underwear don't fit me anymore. And then you're still thinking, yeah, but it's all right. Yeah, that's because I'm not eating right. Yeah, that's because I'm under stress. Yeah, and all the symptoms are piling up and you may be seeing it, but you're not connecting it in a way that is going to be useful. Sometimes you are, and then your brain says, you know what, I'm not even thinking about that possibility. And so you end up late into the investigation, and therefore your outcome is much worse. Dr. Wilkinson, I'm sure, has this issue from time to time. He's my friend, I can talk. When people sometimes have him up because there's an outcome, a surgical outcome that they don't desire. But there's a difference between an elective procedure and an emergency one. An emergency procedure is to save your life, not to make you look good. If you come early, if you want to get your gallbladder removed because you have stones and you have pain, you can have it electively when you don't have any symptoms, when you are pretty well, early, when you're on sick, when you're already on leave, your money stack up, your children ready to take care of you, you book a hotel, nursing care, transport, all of that you sort out before, and they say, all right, surgeon, I could do it. Elective, everything's set. But when your gallbladder rupture because it is inflamed for the last 3 weeks that you didn't do anything about, and then the surgeon has to go in. Dr. Whitley is a good surgeon. And when she has to go in and slice open your belly because to take her time is to see the seconds ticking off of your life. No surgeon is going to care about how your belly looks because your belly going to look good in the corpse, in the casket. Come on, huh? So people have to appreciate the difference between doing it when you have time, when you're not necessarily feeling ill, as opposed to waiting until the last possible second. At that time, like I say, it saves your lifetime.
Now we're in the time for cosmetics.
If you want cosmetics, plan ahead. Neck and back surgery is the same. People come and they have neck pain, and they have back pain, and the nerve, and they numb down the foot. And you say, watch out, you have a slip disc. The disc is herniated. It is damaging your nerves. If it progresses, you're going to be paralyzed from this level down. You need to get this thing fixed. It is surgical.
And they push it off.
Doc.
They push it off. And
No, doc, I can't walk, doc. To the day when you get up out of your bed and you hear,
And you just think,
and that's it. Then now you're rushing around trying to fix a nerve that can't be fixed.
wow.
And sometimes it takes years. Cervical cancer is another problem. Every sexually active woman over the age of 21 should have a pap smear every year. Pap smear is a procedure where you go in. Dr. Lawrence does them a lot. She's really good at it. You get a little brush. You scrape off some cells in the cervix. You send it to the lab. You get an answer. Take you 15 seconds. 20 if you're tight. Go in, get the thing, and come out. Right?
Wait.
Let me my type.
Jade know what I mean.
Keep going, because I'm only like.
But cervical cancer is detected by the pap smears being changing. The pap smear shows you the change in the cells, and the change in cells from the earliest stage into cervical cancer is sometimes 7 to 10 years, which means that you have to be missing 10 years of pap smear, which is the screening test for you to get to the stage where you go from fixable without any trouble to on death's door when it spreads. And the signs are there. You know you're having sex, you know you're not doing your pap smear, and all of a sudden you start to have bleeding with sex. And you say, I'm just doing it at the wrong time, a period come. Or you start to have pain, or too rough.
Yeah.
Or you start to have a funky discharge. Or now you start to realize, wait, I'm losing weight. Or you start to get the lymph nodes in the groin. Noise when you come in, 10 years, 15 years after it started, and anywhere along, any year along that path, you could have done a pap smear and find the answer. So when doctor, whomever, gynecologist, have to go in and take out your entire womb, was something that could have been just fixed by a little tiny,
a scraping,
just a little cut, take out the cervix part and it heal back in 6 months. You want to sacrifice your life for that because you're afraid of a little pap smear? Foolishness. And to tell you something about cervical cancer, it is, and prostate cancer as well. There is enough screening tools for us to be able to find it if we're looking. That cannot be said for many cancers. I know people never smoked a day in their life. Stage 4 lung cancer. Not even one cough.
Wow.
Why would you be looking for it in that person? You're looking for it in a person who is coughing, who is a smoker, and so on and so on.
Smokers, yeah.
Right. So you see a person and you kind of judge their risks based on their everything that they present with. So if you're not in that category, you think that the risk is lower, which it is.
But it's not impossible.
Low don't mean zero.
A wealth of knowledge. Wow. I'm shooketh this morning.
At least you have a good team.
Yeah.
So somebody said, if somebody wants to give you the flowers, they said, this doc is ready for prime time. Then they also proceed to say that this doc seems so passionate about his job and client care. And I have to agree.
Yeah.
You.
There's some things we can do better as people, not even as a health environment, not even as a country, just as an individual, one person to the next person. We can do better. And that should be the base level. Everybody should get to the best they can, and then I come in there to take it to the next level, and so on, moving up the line. We struggle at the bottom, man. All this thing about influenza and coronavirus and wash hand, that should be something that should have been in us from 1913.
After the first pandemic, yeah.
We're still living in that time. We have not changed times yet. So we haven't gone to the next big thing in our life. Like there was the Dark Ages and you have the Renaissance and it's like a huge turn. We don't go through that, maybe tech. But the basics between humans and living and cities and countries, it's still the same era. We should have learned this lesson already. We should have learned this lesson, not just as individuals, but also as nations and companies and business. Why are we struggling to find a cure for this? When it is a plague on our houses across the world forever. We should have fixed this already.
Yeah.
There's money to be made in it. So if you're thinking about those capitalist type people, if you're socialist in your orientation, then there's a reason to fix it too. And as individuals, there's reason to fix it. Why not? Anyway, theme song me out, 9 o'clock. You know, I like my theme, you know. My theme is wicked.
It's okay.
I have to thank Jamster for that. 2006.
2006. As you may studying us by.
Yeah, he over there. He chilling.
The man say
the tea too sweet.
Is Jay distracting him?
Jay.
Somebody tried to call, but we lost our caller.
Oh dear.
We lost a caller. Yeah.
Caller, you can call back next month. When you see you again.
No, I should be here week after next.
Okay.
Lawrence and I are alternating weeks for the time being until we figure out. And then the pharmacy comes in on the last Wednesday for the short one. That's the general idea. But hey, life is about evolution, you know, so you never can tell. All kind of things can happen.
All right. Well, Dr. Holness, thank you very much once again. It was very informative, very educational.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Very woke.
And Jade. Yes,
Jade.
I am out no theme song anyway.
Jade, with the theme music.
When I hear it, there you go. See, watch me stand up. I'm not allowed to dance in public, my wife says.
Yeah, you don't make her come up in the studio to color you up.
No, and we're on TV, right?
Yeah, you're on TV.
Yeah. That. Gentlemen and ladies, it has been fun. See y'all, this is the beginning of the month, hurricane season. 4 storms gone already, you know.
Wow.
We're in for it.
We're in for it.
All right. Bye.
Peace.
What do you want in your pharmacy? Superior service? Check Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Quality drugs? Definitely Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Great prices? Always Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Call Meridian Medical Pharmacy at 465-5096 or 7 or 662-3274 or stop by at South Independent Square Street, Basse-Terre. Meridian Medical Pharmacy. Quality products, superior service, best prices.
Squad. How it be, I'm in there. Let's go. Hey, I tell you my team lit. Say when we fit together, I say my team lit. We don't party like no other, I say my team lit. Say when we fit together, I say my.
Welcome back to Island Tea with your faves, Kevin and Amali. We're having a steer off at the moment. Yeah, welcome back to Island Tea. We just had the lovely segment, Meridian Medical Corner. And we're going to jump now into our guest for... I just said I zone out. We're going to jump into our guest.
over here, he reading and trying to speak at the same time.
No, I was checking something. Wasn't reading. But yeah, we're going to jump into interviewing our guest.
Jade, what's this segment called?
Since you're over here, have a seat. We're going to have a seat.
Caribbean Brew?
You're going to join us for this.
Regional Bush Tea? Okay.
Have a seat. We can keep you over here for this one.
Jay looked like
the fans.
She had felt like, really, guys?
The fans just want to see her often, so we're going to make her join us for this segment. What I got to do with me?
Can I go for my phone?
You may.
No, you may not.
You may. I'll be back.
You can use my phone.
Oh, that is true. We can.
Talk in the mic, please, and use headsets so the God voice can talk to you. Yeah. So we are joined by.
Oh Lord, that's the wrong thing.
And we are being joined by our guest, King James.
Out of St. Martin. Soca superstar.
Bring the mic closer. We need you to get into this zone.
Soca superstar, King James out of St. Martin.
There we go.
Ain't opening. Oh, it open now.
Hi, good morning, good morning.
As I mean, it would have been great to see it, you know? Good morning, King James. King James, how are you, sir?
Morning. I'm good. And what's up? Morning to everyone tuned in, viewers.
Good morning. We're so happy to have you. We're so happy to have you joining us on another episode of Island Tea.
Thanks for having me.
How is it in St. Martin? How's the weather treating you?
Well, the weather is good so far. I mean, a little hot, we had a little Sahara dust.
Okay, low by.
The Sahara desert dust. Had a place a little, how you say?
Yeah, it was the same over here.
Yeah. So, but other than that, it eased up now, so everything is good. The weather's nice. Sun is up. Yeah.
So you're ready for the grilling that we have for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, already. Let's jump in.
Jade sounds like she's ready to give you a hard time.
No,
it's like an interrogation.
Right?
Exactly.
We're all friends here, even though you're not here with us.
Yes.
Okay, so the first question that we have for you today, why the name King James?
Well, to be honest, the story behind that is that my last name is James, so that's where I got the James from. But the King, at the time when I decided to become a solo artist, because I was singing with a band back in the day, I was searching for a name and I couldn't find a name. Like nothing was sticking with me that I liked. So my bro was just like, "Yo, just put James together, King James." Really, I didn't really like it because, you got LeBron James, you got the King James, the Bible, and all that. So I wasn't really feeling it too much. But then I was like, let me do it. I had no other options at the time. So I was like, let me just run with it. But I kind of had envisioned to somewhere down the road change it because, like I said, I wasn't really 100 with it. But yeah, I came out after I did my first 2 songs. After that, everyone embraced it and everybody was just rolling with the King James. So I was like, hey, that's how we ended up there.
I mean, it's a very catchy name. It's hard to forget because you are inclined with people like, as you said, LeBron James and the Bible. So, and I know when people hear the name King James, they're kind of interested to know, well, who has such a big name? Because, a king.
Mm-hmm.
King
and then
James.
at the time, at the time when I started, like I hadn't won a crown as yet or anything. So like the first, I would say like in the beginning, people used to give me a little trouble on, yeah, you calling yourself a king, but you never, won a crown or anything. But I solved that problem. I went on to win 3 crowns, so now we good.
Manifestation.
So now you are King James.
Yeah, King James.
King James.
You manifested your crowns.
All right. So
yes.
So you're doing music full time now. That's correct.
Yes, since 2018. Yeah.
2018, so about 2 years ago. So what prompted you to basically leave, whatever you're doing before your 9 to 5, and go into music full time? And was that a difficult transition for you when it happened?
Okay. I made the decision in 2018 because that was the year when that's the year I won my first crown, the Road March crown that year. And right after that, I teamed up with North Island Records, where it's the record company on the island. They manage Asa Banton, Red Eye Crew,
nice,
etc. So they reached out to me, and they was like, we've been following you for a minute, and we like your vibe, and we like your drive, so we want to sign you on to the label and take you to that next step. So when we did that, we had the meeting and everything, and the next step after that, which was my next single with my first single with the label, with Shensia, Never Have I Ever. So at that time now, like the demand, it came more, like shows and stuff, and having a 9 to 5, it was a little back and forth, because you have to take time off, and you're not here and you're not there. So it was like, okay, I sat down and I was like, you know what, this is it. I think this is the time to like make that step, take that leap then. And I sat down with my boss at the time, and I explained him everything, and he was like, hey, this is the time, go for it, don't second guess it, because the last thing you want to do is like later down the road say, I wish I should have, so I did it, and I jumped full in, so I gave it all my attention, so and we went from there.
Well, you mentioned 2018 was a big year for you.
Yes.
You defeated the 3-time Road March champion, and you captured the Road March title in St. Martin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was that the biggest turning point in your career?
I would say yes and no, because I would say the biggest turning point in my career was actually when I released the song with Shensia. That was when it was like I went from just being known like locally to international after that.
And that was in 2018 as well?
And that was 2018. That was in the ending of 2018.
2018 seems to be a year.
Yeah, that was my year, yeah. So the defeating the 3-time Road March, what that did for me was like locally on the island, that gave me that recognition. Like then it was when it was like everyone was like familiar with King James now. It was like, all right, we know the guy. Before that it was like, you had some supporters, but a lot of people didn't know me still on the island, although yet we small, but I wasn't well known like that. But after defeating the 3-time reigning Road March king, it was like, okay, I became like a household name then in St. Martin. And then later that year when I did the single with Shensia, that was the turning point, because now like I went from just being a household name in St. Martin to now being a household name around the Caribbean and Jamaica and in the US and stuff, and we did the music video and all of that. So that was like, yeah. Yep.
How many views currently do you think that the video is on YouTube?
I think we're at 1.9 million now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
We did 100. That was actually my first music video. We did 100,000 views in the first week.
Wow.
And then we did 1 million. Yeah, we did 1 million, I think, at like the 6-month mark.
Wow.
I want to say. Yeah, like 6 months.
That must have been a crazy experience to go from just having the name King James to now being internationally recognized as a soca artist coming from a small island like St. Martin.
Yeah, it was mind blowing. It was like, like we could, it was hope that we could do it. We could get out there and show the world what St. Martin has to offer.
Like all the hard work has finally been paying off.
Yep, that's right.
So As a soca artist, what do you prefer who do you prefer to perform with, a band or a DJ?
I prefer a band. Give me a band any day. The vibes, the live music is just a different feeling. You know, it just does something to you, like with a live band. And then through growing up here in St. Martin, you know, same thing in St. Kitts. You know, we love the band culture. You know, everything is band. You know, so that's what I was raised on initially. The band, that band culture, VI, you know, SK, Drive, Bouillon. So give me a live band any day, any day, any day.
So you were born in St. Thomas, correct?
Yes.
Do you plan to collaborate with any of the VI artists over there? Give us some.
Well, actually, to be honest, we have something in the works right now with Swanks from Big Band. So big up Swanks one time. So we have a track just finishing up, should be released any minute now. Just actually was released from earlier for St. Thomas Carnival, but due to the whole pandemic and the postponement of the carnivals and stuff, it was pushed back. But it should be released any minute now.
Oh wow, we'll be looking out for that, because we love us some VI music over here as well.
Right.
For sure, we send it over for sure. You'll definitely get that track.
We can't wait to see you perform with them, because the vibes just be unmatched. The VI vibes.
Yeah.
What about Asa?
Drive
is just something else.
Well, I think he did mention that he was actually being looked at by the same people that were looking at Asa Banton.
So we want the collab now.
So hopefully
we want the King James and an Asa Banton collaboration.
Of course, we waiting.
It's so crazy, right? Because it's so much times like we bump into each other in the studio and stuff, and it's like, yo, Asa, when we gonna do it? And I was like, yeah, we gotta sit and plan it out, right? Because when I coming in, he leaving, or when he coming in, I leave. But vice versa. Sorry, get a little busy. So yeah, but it's just the right timing and everything, you know. And that's what I learned, that, you know, timing is everything. You know, you don't have to rush anything. But trust me, it is coming. Definitely, and it's gonna be a big track.
Yeah, we're gonna be looking out for that one for sure. So the Red Eye Crew and yourself are two names that shine from St. Martin. Who else would you give a worthy mention to?
Where do you mention? Let me see. In the soca field, the soca arena, I would have to say, I'd have to pick up my boy King Purse one time. Yeah, King Purse.
Wow. We're looking forward to see the development of soca in St. Martin. I feel like there's some hidden gems over there. And with you and the Red Eye... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, sir.
I was saying, with you and the Red Eye Crew kind of pioneering the movement, I feel like we will see some different things coming out of St. Martin soon, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know, see, man, we have a lot of music and a lot of talent on the island. You know, it's just the fact that we're so small, and the exposures, that's the little barrier that is keeping us from breaking out on the outside. But like you said, you know, Red Eye Crew, they paved the way for us in the game, because they've been doing it for a minute now, and they've been doing it so big, you know, traveling worldwide, shows, music on the charts, on the iTunes charts, in the top 10 in places like overseas, Asia and Russia and those countries and stuff. So they definitely stamping, you know, our St. Martin name out there to the rest of the world.
How has well, of course we have to talk about it. Corona has sort of impacted everybody. Has this inside time helped with your new projects, creativity? How has it affected your craft?
It is a plus and a minus, because the fact that you've been locked down, being indoors, you know, I wasn't able to go to the studio, and I'm more one of those artists that I like to be in the studio, in the environment, to vibe, you know, and beyond that type of vibe. But on the flip side, I was still able to work on some music, but because I had no choice, I was able to now transition and force myself to now have to work, you know, write music from home and and not being, you know, because I was kind of spoiled to say, so like anytime I wanted to like work on some music, I would just hop up and head to the studio and I would just vibe in the studio, you know. And but now, you know, being home, I had no choice but to be home because I couldn't go anywhere. So I kind of learned now I taught myself now how to vibe, you know, in a different environment and be able to still produce music and record. I was actually working on recording myself at home, but I didn't wait too long, so I still need to work on that. But
we'll sure you'll get there. We sure, since we're inside, you have plenty of practice time, so we sure you'll get there.
Yeah.
Last year you linked up with DJ/producer International Steven. You created two of your biggest songs, "Joking Me" and "My Team Lit." Yes, which were used to capture the 2019 Groovy Monarch title with "Joking Me," and you placed first runner-up in the 2019 Power category with "My Team Lit." Tell us a bit about the experience from creating these songs to capturing these two big titles.
All right, well, with Joking Me the Groovy, I worked on it. We had recorded it and we had it there. And Steven was actually visiting St. Martin. He was doing his birthday tour, and one of the stops was here in St. Martin, so he came in. And he previously did work with Red Eye Crew on a few of their tracks, and they worked in the past. So while he was here, we linked up in the studio, and we was just going through some files and stuff, and it was like, you know, this is what we got for this year. And he heard the Joking Me. So when he heard the Joking Me, he was like, yeah, like, this is a big track, like, I want to be a part of this. So I was like, sure. I was like, cool, no problem. So we sat down and we crunched, we worked out the little details, the fine details. We tweaked some stuff and everything, and we finished that. And while we was in the studio, they happened to play My Team Lit by I would say by accident. So then he was like, yeah. He was like, who is this track? This you too? And I was like, yeah, that's a track we're looking to do for Power. He was like, nah, I need to be a part of this one too. Like, this giving me a vibe. He was like, this giving me a vibe, like a feeling of vibe. And then this track right here, this is it right here. So I was like, I mean, it's International Steven, you can't say no, come on. So I was like, cool, no problem. So we finished the song, and he gave his input as well. We tweaked it. We finished both of the tracks. It was like, these are the two tracks we pushing for Carnival 2019. And we went on, and as the two tracks were released, they just took fire from there. And like the whole, everyone was just feeling it. The vibes was right. It was just yeah.
Wow.
It was just on a whole nother vibe.
Capturing two big titles in 1 year. You really hold the name King James well. You wear your crown well, because you really are king.
Thanks.
No problem. And coming from not even having that type of exposure when you first announced your name, to know everybody knowing who is King James from St. Martin, that must be a crazy experience in such short years.
Yes, it was crazy, because I remember like my first 3 years in the music, like I couldn't even place in the competitions. Like, listen, if it was 10 of us, I had 11 plays. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy, but I just keep going back every year, and I was like, you know, just gotta keep pushing and keep working on my craft, you know, to perfect it and get it to where I'm at now. And I mean, I'm still growing, I'm still learning. That's one thing with me, you know. I don't think I ever feel like, okay, I got it now, because I feel like there's so much to learn and there's so much to know in music that I don't think at no point you can ever be like, okay, I think I got it. Like, I got it now. So
yeah, you will forever be a student of your craft.
Yep, facts.
So what's next for King James in the upcoming months?
Right now, I just released my new single, Meet Me by the Bar, which is doing really good right now. So we're getting ready to shoot the music video for that this weekend coming. We're gonna start shooting for that. In the coming months, more music, of course. I'm not too sure, because I know I had some bookings, for instance, like in Angola for Angola's Carnival. I was doing Grenada, but okay, that's past, but Grenada and stuff. So it's to see like the different carnivals that are still going to go on in the year. Miami Carnival, Uber, Soca Cruise,
Wow. Well, King James, it was a pleasure chatting with you and having you on our show. We enjoyed hearing all the things that you've been through from starting your musical journey to now being King James.
King
James.
We look forward to hearing from you again and following your musical journey and having you back to talk to us when you have other things going on. We will be sure to look out for that new music video that you're about to shoot. Because, this is exciting stuff for us. We love music over here. So thank you once again for joining us on this episode of Island Tea. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure. Speaking
with you.
Thanks. And thanks for having me. I want to shout out to everyone in St. Kitts, everyone that's tuned in. Hopefully I can make my way down.
Hopefully.
When everything open up and could hop on a stage over in St. Kitts and
I'm ready.
Do a little something.
Yes, we're ready to see you with a big band.
Yeah, for sure. And I got to shout out Kevin Kev, for hooking us up to be able to have this interview today, and as well all the St. Martiners, a show where they got some St. Martin people logged in and stuff. So big up to everyone. And again, thanks for having me.
It was our pleasure.
See you guys. So,
bye.
All right, take it easy. All right, we'll pause for a quick break and get back to some more Island Tea. Stay tuned.
I drinking more than you. Where the drinkers there? I drinking more than you. Call the boozers there. I drinking more than you. I tell you, meet me by the bar. We drinking what we want. Next round's on you. If you think you're going to outdrink me, let me show you what we do. All right, now, take that. I want you to drink that. Shots, take that. I want you to drink that, lady. Take that. I want you to drink that. If you think you're going to outdrink me, let me show you what we do. From the time we reach inside the bed, we play in this game. The plan is to drink all night until we forget we need. Rum does make me feel nice. Rum does make me feel sweet. Rum does make the party jump over fence and down in the street. That's really
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 Win FM.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
This is an unprecedented announcement from Horseman's. Get up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. It's Horseman's Automotive Unprecedented Sales Event happening now. Yes, for the first time ever, you get up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Yes, pay zero VAT and get up to $30,000 off on top of that. This has never been seen before. Unprecedented savings at the Unprecedented Auto Sales Event at Horseman's Automotive. Up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Let me repeat, up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Don't miss this, it's unprecedented. Terms and conditions apply.
The Dreamy Group invites you to become a Dreamily Vowed customer with goods and services provided by our Dreamy team. We specialize in event planning and design, event rental, floral design, and balloon art. We cater to all your event needs. So, whether it's a wedding, birthday party, grand opening, dinner, anniversary, stage design, or any event worth celebrating, call us 466-9418 or 766-9189. For all your decoration needs, visit us at the Koi Building, Airport Road for your garment baskets, fruit and flower baskets, bath and body baskets, floral arrangement, wreaths, centerpieces, and floral gifts to fit any occasion. Call 466-9418 or 766-9189.
Fruta, taste the real Fruta, enjoy the real Fruta, refreshing juice of every day. Whoa, Fruta, drink the real Fruta, your favorite Fruta, the natural taste is Fruta. Fruta.
Your favorite fruit has got a new skin with real juice within. Drink the real Fruta. Enjoy the real joy.
Taste the real Fruta, enjoy the real Fruta, refreshing juice of every day is Fruta.
Fruta, juiced right.
Pretty girl in bikinis, oh you look so girl like you're freaky. Double red from the smoothies, oh you lick on the freezes. Turn round for me, go wild for me. Push that bumper back hard on me. Tick tock, mommy. Wine low, baby. Go slow, baby. I know what you need. I know what you need. Wine low, baby. Go slow, baby. I know what you need. I know what you need. Ever leave the party sober before the thing's done over, before the place done over. Ever leave the party sober before the thing's done over, before the place done over. Never ever
heartbeat a drop. Bad me broke out, no apology. And me too savage, we go make a youth. Call me like Twitter, man, a follow me fi study me biology. Yes, me a the bestest gal inna the colony. Shensi up on his own, Tony up. All a dash cash, DJ money pull up. More liquor in a cup, fully up. Drink till me see the bottom of the cup. Chug it up, chug it up.
Ever leave the party sober before the thing's done over, before the place done over. Ever leave the party sober before the thing's done over, before the place done over. Never ever broke off your waistline, baby. Let me pull up to you, my lady.
I want you to give me the wine right there. I like how you put on the wine on me.
Broke off your waistline, baby. Let me pull up to you, my lady.
I want you to give me the wine right there. I like how you put on the wine on me.
Wine low, baby. Go slow, baby. I know what you need. I know what you need. Wine low, baby. Go slow, baby. I know what you need. I know what you need. Ever leave the party sober before the thing's done over, before the place done over. Ever leave the party sober before the thing's done over, before the place done over. Never
Yeah, Jade is such an amazing person. And welcome back to the umpteenth plus one
Oh, we're live?
episode of Island Tea with your faves, Kevin and Amali. And Jade. We made Jade come into the studio
They
to
did.
join us.
They did.
Main done talking.
Sorry.
That's not how we do it on this side of the class.
The video is more like instinct now. I like it. And the Lord said, let there be visuals.
Look at that when I raise my hand.
Father
again.
Azim, not Father Abraham.
But Jade is joining us. I've made her come on. I make her come on this side because she like to wave she hands and tell us things. So I wanted to be on this side to experience what we experience. So Jade is joining us for our favorite topic. Well, one of our favorite topics because everyone is our favorite. Over easy. I need a jingle for that.
We actually did.
Over easy.
Sorry, my love. We're actually doing tea time because we told the people we're going to talk about some things with them and we didn't talk about them. We talk about...
At the last stop doing that, yo.
With what Dr. Holden said.
Because we were very engaged in
Things
this
can be
conversation.
possible, but unlikely.
Not that part, the one that had us stunned.
About 20 feet tight?
Yes. I wasn't sure if we could say that on...
Totes in a probes.
It's a family show. Can we say those things? We can. He's a doctor.
if you say it.
Well,
Yeah, he's more inclined to say it
And
than
I'm
us.
sure that he was speaking from a medical standpoint. It will take longer depending on
Yes, he can say those things. I hope y'all were listening and y'all go and get y'all paps and y'all smears. And for the men, what's the male equivalent to a pap smear?
a prostate exam if you're over the age of 40.
Okay. So you're getting up there then, Amali.
Wow. I want to talk over in the studio. We ain't on a mic.
I feel I'm offended. I feel
Was you offended?
Of course. Because I come from Machina as a wildcat.
Oh my Jesus. Oh my word.
Now you see what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
I am taken aback.
That God voice
Kevin,
is scary.
topics please.
So, we're going to start off with talking about the director of Carnival being appointed. Now, keep in mind, Jade whispering things.
I can't see myself, Amali, a mic in my face.
How about you
It's
lean
not
back?
my mic, it's with FM mic.
How about you lean back and have a seat and you can pull the microphone towards you?
Yes, that is
Oh,
true.
wow.
Thank you, Kevin. See, I tell you, I'm not accustomed to be
You
over
see,
here.
washy people. Carry on.
Master of ceremonies.
Wildcat.
Yeah, as when they shake your legs, let them girls when they come out the ocean. Wow.
He can do the
Jagabat.
when he put you in the water and flip it back.
Flip it back, yeah.
So, the director of Carnival has been appointed.
Mhm.
Keep in mind, the director is not the same
as the
chairman of Carnival.
The chair of Carnival.
The chair of Carnival. It's on the document. So it's conflicting.
And the thing, what's really ironic about that? We're so accustomed to the chair of Carnival being a man that people actually announce women as chairman as well. Like there was an article last week about Mia Motley as the chairperson for CARICOM or whatever she is. And they said the chairman for CARICOM, Mia Motley. I was just like, nobody read this and thought it was... it wasn't in sync.
It was totes in the probes.
It wasn't in sync.
Yeah, so I zone out.
So what is happening?
The director... Oh, you're going to go ahead? Go ahead.
Yes,
Go
because
ahead.
apparently having a brain fart.
Yeah.
What is happening is that Carnival is being restructured. I heard Azim was going to be the new ED, but apparently that was misinformation.
Rumors.
And he didn't. And he wasn't aware.
Rumors again.
They didn't tell you you get a job, eh? And
Yeah,
take
yeah.
it. They didn't tell you and they didn't tell you to take it back.
I lose it before you even know I had it.
Lose it before you even know you had it. But Carnival is being restructured. From what I understand, the Carnival, let's call it the Carnival rules and regulations, where be Azim that govern the Carnival?
The terms and conditions.
The statutory something, whatever. I don't know. The Carnival. Let's just say
There's
the
an
Carnival.
act. There's actually a
The
Carnival Act.
Thank you, Jesus. There's a Carnival Act. Actually does provide for an ED, but apparently it wasn't used or it wasn't implemented, that part of the act. So it has been now enacted. The part of the act has been enacted, right? And now the ED will take on operations as it relates to Carnival. And from what I understand, I could be wrong because no announcement has been made, but this is from my understanding of how EDs and boards work. The ED would be an employee of Carnival, and then the board, which would be chaired by whoever it is, would provide parameters for the ED to work with within for the Carnival, similar to how any other board would work. You'd have the board of directors, who is chaired by a particular individual, and then you would have a CEO or an ED that reports to the board as it relates to matters, for that particular organization, for that particular company.
So who was the lovely lady that was appointed?
They appointed Mrs. Hazel Webster as the
Hazel Webster.
Congratulations,
right.
Ms. Webster.
As the director of Carnival. Congratulations.
I'm excited. I am looking
too.
forward to see what she will do for Carnival, honestly.
I'm just ready for Carnival, to be
I
honest.
know I know the position is full time, so she'll be working on Carnival all year, which in theory would improve the quality of the Carnival. You have more time, you have more resources to put into it.
And she has experience, actually. She did voluntary work with the operations committee for the National Carnival Committee.
Oh, she
so
did.
she's not coming in as they would say blind.
Right.
She has some experience in her pocket.
And then to sprinkle icing on the cake and things, right? If they make Azim the chair now, the chairman. Wow. Azim, so you wouldn't accept?
I think there's positions that are things that I would like to add to the Carnival, but I don't necessarily think I have to be in the position of chair to do that.
Okay.
So
you didn't answer the question, but okay.
He did subliminally.
He has nothing.
He didn't answer.
Well, I understand what he meant.
I really don't have interest in that particular position. I'd like to contribute in other ways.
I understand. You're goals, man. You're behind the scenes making things happen, moving and shaking.
I mean, a lot of shaking on Carnival. I don't know if that really means anything, but
what is calling,
Anything, any music, say band, say music, Kevin act up.
He wake up one time. Oh
boy.
What is next? So congrats, Hazel.
Congrats, big
congratulations.
Congrats.
We expect big things from you, and we're looking forward to see what you bring to the table. Totally exciting. Kevin, focus. The man in a trance, yo.
Next, we have... You got to turn off that song because it made no focus.
You turn it off.
I want to go to...
Hello, you're making Kevin have serious withdrawals, please.
Carnival
Before you make him
tobacco?
shake.
It's a massive tobacco.
You're shaking like a crackhead. Scratching the skin and say like, I just want to go.
I need a fix.
I just waff it.
I need a fit fix.
Yeah, but
I got a Fed cup here, a specific cup I just carry to my
Me too.
Feds.
I need to get one. Mine is cane juice. Tropics cups, but that is
No,
usually
mine
They
is
gotta
a
do better than
specific
that.
Fed cup that I just carry to my Feds.
they gotta do better. Like I'm talking more like a cup of Amazon.
Yeah,
that
like,
costs like
it's
15, 20 years.
I'm gonna invest in one.
cup.
Yeah.
When we're going back outside, we're going back outside properly. So
Properly.
I'm going
Ooh,
to get a new one.
so.
I'm going to get a new one. It's going to be like black titanium with like some something on it. But
There's people here that make like specific like Fed cups too.
yes, they do. They're
like-
customized.
The plastic ones are like
Like
nice
bedazzled.
stainless steel ones and so.
the plastic, the
Mason,
mason jars.
yeah, the Mason
plastic
ones.
Oh, no, me one. But yeah,
Huge.
big up Korean and all the others
Yeah, DFX
that make those. DFX,
Yeah.
real right in the house.
I'm gonna get a custom made.
Yeah, but me talking about the Mason mugs, right? Talking about like a nice big stainless steel thing that could hold like
And
3
you know
beers
what I
on them.
want? You know what I want? I want some sort of strap on it. So if I need to Lego, I could just Lego.
Lego.
So
Lego
if
your cup
if I
and
jam
then Lego
in,
your
so
waistline.
If I saw and I jam in and a good song come out, just Lego.
So it has to have a cover.
A cover.
And a strap.
A cover
And a
and a strap.
The anatomy of the perfect
You know
Fed cup.
them. You know them IDs that have the zip card, the retractable zip card.
You want a retractable zip card?
A
in your cup?
retractable zip card on my cup, so I could put it on like a belt, like a fanny pack. So then I drink, and the song come on. zzz.
Hint for any hint for any entrepreneurs wondering or seeking a business idea. We just gave you one for free. Just make sure we get our cups.
And I want the first one for free, so I could do the advertisement.
Yes. And speaking of entrepreneurs and Kittitian excellence,
We're gonna talk about don't thief me segment. Kittitian. We're gonna talk about the Kittitian who is being awarded at Ross University, University of Missouri. They're in their 10th semester as a student at Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine. I could never say that word. He attends Ross University through an agreement with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. And he was featured on the Dean's List. He's being awarded with the MU Small Animal Surgery Award. I like to see St. Kitts.
What's his name?
Chevon Johnson.
You know what I think? We should do a segment that highlights excellence in
Kittish and
St. Kitts.
excellence.
Yes. Another segment, Jade?
Yes. I can do that since I'm the producer.
That is true. I apologize.
Can we just get another hour?
Win FM.
We don't have enough time on the radio to our segment.
Can we just get another hour? If we get another hour, then Jade have to provide breakfast. So please give me another hour.
Never mind.
All right, problem solved.
Next, Master of Ceremony.
Next, we're gonna talk about Trinidad.
Oh boy.
So, Trinidad. Yesterday, a lot of us see yesterday a lot of videos that started circulating, and Trinidad has now seen an uprising in protest over the killing of 3 men by police officers. This happened in Port of Spain, and Port of Spain has since been, I don't know if it eased up yet, but it was basically blocked off.
Yeah, yesterday we were seeing some stuff happening with cars being moved in the road, and yeah, they had fires.
They had massive protests, police firing at protesters, and chaos. But the police inspector, Roger Alexander, he promised the residents
words mean things.
He promised the residents that justice will be served and that they will be given a full account of what transpired in the shooting of the 3 men in 2nd Caledonia on Saturday. So it happened on Saturday.
And protests are still going on.
And the protests are still going on.
But I mean, the protest
yesterday was the worst of it.
Yeah, but the protest really did start a few days after.
But today was yesterday was just
was a height,
a peak.
But this whole thing in Trinidad kind of brings up some interesting discussions, and at least for me, because apparently the story is that there was actually a police that was shot and killed the day before on Friday.
Oh, wow.
And so the killing of these 3 guys are being viewed as almost revenge killing. And I guess persons are suspecting that these guys were actually suspects in that killing, right? And so that whole powder keg of emotions, police, and they have lives and families, and how they deal with dangerous criminals and stuff like that. Because there's a video out with one of the guys who persons seem to be most enraged about, because he apparently was well liked in the community. Had no criminal background, nothing like that, and apparently there's a video with his hands up in the air.
Oh wow!
And he's now deceased, and condolences to his friends and family, and to all the persons that would have died, because apparently through the protests, there's actually been some casualties as well.
And a lot of arrests. I think yesterday I don't want to misquote, but I think I saw about 72 people being arrested.
72.
Yeah, just yesterday alone, due to these protests.
And then what the protesters are doing is they're putting debris in roads and setting them on fire.
Debris? Cars.
Well,
it's a big piece
they're
of
putting
debris.
any objects, they're putting them in the streets and setting them on fire to prevent, the passing of traffic to, and also to keep the police at bay. But then the police are then going on foot to proceed past the barriers.
And this is a debate that like I've had with persons like over many of these similar situations where there's this feeling that, okay, well, if police die or police get injured or anything like that, like you expect these consequences, the retaliation. Also, in the case of the actual killing of the guys, I guess persons are saying, well, they were looking for somebody who might have been involved in the shooting of a police officer, and so they wouldn't know what to expect. And the guy was wrong for being around these guys who are known or have criminal past and all this kind of thing. So it's almost like justifying the reaction of the police, you know, by taking deadly force in that case.
But then the issue is as well, a lot of people are calling for the suspension of the officers or even the termination, and they have not been suspended or terminated.
Police officers shouldn't be judge and jury. That's why we have courts and a process, a due process. You have to be innocent before proven guilty. You can't just be guilty and then, well, they figure it out after.
Yeah, I think what happens in these situations is the belief, and I'm not even talking about within the police force, right? I'm talking like even just people on the street who believe that, well, they suspect that these guys done kill out police already. We're walking up to the car. We don't know what they got. So we ain't waiting for them to kill us.
Tension
to
is
find
high.
out. Right, and so, I mean...
Which is understandable.
I mean, it's understandable, but at the same time, my thing is that police officers have signed up for an incredibly difficult job.
They have.
And they should not be judged by the same standards as the regular man, right? As a matter of fact, what happens when those put in position to uphold the law behave lawlessly? And how do we navigate that whole situation?
Who police the police?
Yeah, and it's a very difficult situation to really discuss and navigate and even come up with the right answers.
Yeah, that's why a lot of places been calling for reform. We see in the UK especially, there's different types of police being dispatched. There are
levels to it, yeah.
Levels, you know, if there's a regular call, a disturbance on the street, they will dispatch officers that are unarmed.
That don't even have weapons.
Yeah, they dispatch unarmed officers to go and handle the situation. And then, you know, beyond that, there's the lightly armed. Then there's the ones above that who then, you know, have the rifles and the body armor. So there's different levels. And I think that's a good model to follow because
I agree.
Not every situation requires a gun. So we have a call on the line. Let's take the call. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Mr. Tucker, this is Jam down here. I just hear a youngster, and he was explaining about police ain't taking no chance with these folks coming up to the vehicle and they doing what they gotta do first. Brother, this thing start long before that, yeah? This thing start...
Hello, caller, are you there?
It's more than that, my brother. And don't put it over, sir.
Well,
make the wider public feel like these youths in war with police. If the white police see these youths certain place in the community, they just wage war. Look at that knee in the youth neck, my brother. Look at that knee. Don't talk these things, so have a good day.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Young white people come better than that with us.
Thank you, caller. Well,
very insightful.
Very, as Azim was saying, that may have been, not that is the reason that, you know, sometimes police are put in certain situations where it's life and death. I don't feel like I could be a police. I don't feel like police have to
definitely
be.
Go jail if I was a police.
Police have
definitely.
to. Yeah, they have to deal with some situations that I can't even dream about. So it's very ticklish when you have to approach these kind of situations, because again, if you don't know what could happen, you leave the house trying to do a job and you may not come home, but that does not mean that you shouldn't uphold the law that you promised to uphold.
Right.
You have to set a standard. You have to police in a way that is an example for youth. Because I feel like a lot of young people don't want to be in the police force because they feel like police are a certain way.
But hence, you know, reform, which is why we were talking about reform.
Not just that. In the US of A and in other countries I know of, when you have an instance where a police officer is killed, whether it's on or off duty, there are some cities and states that actually take the actual department of the case and have another precinct investigate.
So policing the police.
Because they're too close to it.
Yeah.
If my partner is shot in the line of duty, or if
No, eliminate bias. Or try
You
to.
eliminate
You have
bias,
to.
and sometimes the police department actually bring in the FBI to investigate the matter. So all the actual police departments are off the case because they're going to take it personal, right? But apparently we have another caller. Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I like the topic that you're all on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Picture this. If you were to take some of the circumstances that's happening in the U.S. right now and you bring it home to St. Kitts,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think our reaction would be locally to seeing video like that?
Well, that's ticklish because I feel in the Caribbean.
It'd be worse.
I feel like in the Caribbean, we know most of the police officers because the island is small, the country is small.
And most importantly, they look like us.
Yeah, so...
Now, see, here's the thing. Policing is policing, no matter where you go. There's a level of respect that people expect from police because police are not working for themselves. We hire them. They're working for us. So if a police is going to show up at your gate and say, come outside, it's your house. Police can't just walk into your house in St. Kitts and decide they're going to do whatever they want and turn up whatever they want. There's consequences to it because we are the taxpayers are paying his salary. So we in the Caribbean, we have a level of interaction with the police that the U.S. does not have.
Thank
When
you.
we leave down here, we go to the U.S. and we happen to put up on this kind of treatment or having to speak to a police officer in the U.S. and we get certain tones and certain statements being made to us. It takes you aback.
It's a culture shock.
Yeah, look at downtown. How many persons don't walk across the white line?
Everybody.
Every day you have jaywalking. For you to go to the States to get arrested for jaywalking, have a criminal record, be brutalized in the process, you're going to be like, what?
Right.
That is true.
You know what I mean? So the fact is, it comes down to a level of respect. We have those laws here on St. Kitts, jaywalking laws. It's $500 for the ticket.
Oh.
You can ask Mr. Ed when he comes back on his next traffic talk.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a jaywalking law based on the fact that it was there before, but it's now revamped and amended because of the traffic lights.
Right.
But as drivers, we adhere to it and we slow down. But in the U.S., if you see somebody walking across the street, as the drivers in the U.S., they mow down the person.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be walking across the road. I mean, it's not right, but...
It's not right.
No.
So for me, when I look at all these things that's happening and stuff like that, I mean, it is discouraging to have persons think that the U.S. is so great and call the Caribbean third world countries when, not saying our policing is perfect, it's not. Investigatively, it has worked as well.
It's more user-friendly.
But we do not have the instances to the level of police trumping up charges and stuff like that just to get you convicted. We have a level of knowing we live in St. Kitts. We can go enjoy the life that we live in St. Kitts. That's where you're born. You're supposed to have freedom of movement. Who's going to tell me don't go up Boardwalk or McKinley or Frigate Bay? When I'm walking the streets and persons walking the streets, police officers are going to come and tell you you're not supposed to be in this area of McKinley or Frigate Bay or the Southeast Peninsula and show me your ID. That is unheard of for us here. So when we go big, how many persons even walk with a passport instead of going to the beach? I mean, it is on a different level when it comes to the U.S. And it's something that have been seen for a long time, need to be rectified for a long time, but because it's not them as in white, it doesn't affect them and they don't see it as a problem, and they're the ones that's in charge. One lady asked me one time, who is your prime minister? Gave her the name. Is he white? No. All black people run the government. She was shocked.
She was shocked.
That we have
I'm telling you,
people
she
that
was
look
shocked.
like us running a country that we live in.
Yeah.
Hello, yeah. She was shocked.
People actually still see the Caribbean like as colonies.
I hate the term third world countries, because I don't
That's my
feel
point.
like, yeah, I
That's
don't
my
feel like
point.
it fits.
We have Wi-Fi all around the islands, and within the U.S., you got some places that don't even have phone lines. But we're the third world country.
Yeah.
So this is why I said it's systematic. No matter what nobody says, it's systematic in order to keep black people in a particular position.
Yeah.
In the Caribbean, we're fortunate. We came from that era, but the persons who have the government and the rebellions that we've had over time, it put us in a better position.
Yep.
Than black, and colored people in America.
I agree. And Carla, thank
So
you
right
so
there.
much for your input. It was a joy hearing from you.
Yeah, man, anyway, for your thanks.
Well, maybe he's listening and he can get it today.
He can get it when we
As in, do we have another caller or they left?
Okay, well, it looks like that brings us to the end of the
Lord
show.
says we have to leave.
Oh, boy.
So thank you very much for joining us on this morning's umpteenth plus one episode of Island Tea with your faves, Kevin and Amali and Jade, who barged into the studio unwelcome. And of course, big up the engineer, as I'm on the ones and 96s. Have a great day. Tell somebody you love them, even if you don't mean it.
Wow. don't do that, man.
Please don't do that.
It might make them feel good. You might save a life.
It's false, it's true.
You might save a life.
Somebody want a false.
You might save. Somebody might need a false. I love you. Okay.
Appreciate everyone.
Yes, appreciate. Better.
If you see somebody looking down, tell them to have on a nice dress, have a nice smile. Even if they don't have a nice smile, make somebody
That
feel
sounds
good.
better.
Make somebody feel good today.
I agree.
Don't
we
be
will
selfish.
See y'all tomorrow.
Jade.
No.
Jade.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Can you mute the mic? We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Peace out.